Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and Globe My Business present Open for Business.
Greetings from the Philippines to the world. We are on Facebook Live on Eagle News and also on our streaming site eaglenewslive.com. Watch us on our YouTube channel at Eagle News. I am Cesar Vallejos. Welcome to Open for Business. Join me discover the latest news and information and business around the world. Stay ahead of the curve from vision to action. Our previous episode in Open for Business was highlighted by the messages of the President and CEO of Globe Telecom, Ernest Cu, and the Chairman and CEO of the Ayala Corporation, Jaime Augusto Zobel de Ayala, on the role of MSMEs in the Philippine economy. This week, we continue to honor Pinoy SMEs, leading the initiative to help MSMEs navigate the new ways of doing business is the champion of SME support in the country, Globe My Business. What are the challenges of MSMEs in the reopening? How much have they lost during the lockdowns? For businesses who have yet to reopen, or entrepreneurs who want to open their business, what technologies should be considered? And what digital strategies can be utilized for MSMEs to fast-track their business operations? What support are available for MSMEs out there as they rebuild their businesses in the new normal? Marvin M. Montes, the sales head of Globe My Business, will join us here in Open for Business. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and Globe My Business present Open for Business.
Open for Business is back, and with me is Marvin M. Montes, the sales head of Globe My Business. How are you, Marvin?
Good afternoon, Cesar. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for gracing the show. And our topic today is how technology can help SMEs open anew. But before that, there's a lot of interesting topics or interesting questions that our viewers would want to know first. Ang dami na naming nababalitaan nagsasara, and there's a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of, when we go outside, there's of course there's still lockdowns in different parts of the country, but we also see a lot of movement already. And I think for the first time, that's just a few days na experience ko na traffic ulit. But my first question is, before we go into these new solutions or these new offers, from your team from Globe My Business, that's very interesting for entrepreneurs. Siguro a lot of people would know paano ba naapektuhan yung mga MSMEs natin with the global pandemic.
Yeah, well, thanks, Cesar. I mean, MSMEs have been severely affected. It's really quite hard to quantify right now, but I guess the most relevant or the nearest estimation would be, we can base it from the most recent DTI survey we're in. It was determined that around 70% of the almost or more, a little over 1 million MSMEs in the country have been affected. So it's
laki.
Much laki. Yeah, almost. I mean, that's practically the whole MSME industry. They've been severely affected in one way or the other. So, to further explain, about 53% or more than half of these MSMEs actually totally stopped during the implementation of the ECQ. And more than half stopped na. That's another 21% So that's almost another 1/4 of the population had to reduce manpower to be able to just save on costs.
Actually, that's these figures very interesting and very alarming. Kasi you said, I think that's about 53% have totally stopped their operations. Nababalitaan din namin some of the businesses will continue to stop, or they have filed. We're seeing a lot of reports with Eagle News International, with our coverage, and not only here in the Philippines, but in other parts of the world, that they have already, some filed bankruptcy already, and they will stop operations. So I think, do you have some estimates in terms of the losses, impact to the revenues? And also, I think you mentioned about unemployment, or they reduce their manpower headcount. And I think we're also reading a lot of data reporting that, I think that's about in the Philippines lang, about in initial figures, 4 to 7 million Filipinos
Correct,
have
that's
lost their jobs. Pero tayo, importante, sabi nga natin, and I think I heard that from Sir Ernest Koo and Sir Jaza, that the MSM is really, is the one, that really fuels the economy.
Correct. It's the backbone. It's the backbone of the economy.
Yeah, it's a backbone. So, yun, how, in terms of, can you mention some figures on the losses and probably the impact to the economy?
Sige, in terms of losses, the figure I have right now is about 19%, 19 to 20% of these MSMEs will file for bankruptcy in the near future. The sustained restrictions of the ECQ, in fact, even the new norm, will severely affect their respective operations and businesses. So just imagine a restaurant, for example, who had a seating capacity of around 100 people prior to the ECQ, prior to this COVID pandemic. Right now, at best, will be allowed to only accommodate around 30% to 40% seating capacity. So just imagine the sales revenue the loss of the amount of sales revenue that they will be losing because of the reduced seating capacity that they will have to implement, just to ensure that the spread of the virus will be curbed.
Being in the industry, being in sales for several decades, I wouldn't mention the number of decades, Marvin.
Thank you.
Or else we'll be cut off. But with your discussions with the MSMEs, with small business owners during or maybe during the lockdowns and maybe after the lockdown, so far, what are the most common challenges that they're saying? What insights are or what problems are they having? Because of course, when you file for bankruptcy talagang ang problema natin talaga dito pera, di ba? And of course, after that, I myself, even I think our executives from Globe My Business are also listening, Sarah and Miss Gail and Miss Diane, I think. Now, I'm sure everyone, and like you, received our several bills this June, and we see some from Meralco, phone bills and other rent concerns and loans. They're coming in, they are piling up now. So if this of course automatic na yun, parang we know that the major challenge is the availability of cash, but meron pa ba maliban dito sa cash ang talagang problema ng mga
Tama, no, Cesar? I think based on the study conducted by our team, cash flow management really is the top priority or pain point right now. Cash flow management, kasi just you mentioned, there are bills to pay, salaries to give to the employees, loans to pay off, diba? So it will not stop naman. But other than cash flow management, the other pain points that have so far surfaced from our MSME accounts are really, first is the operational shift. So how will they transition from offline to online at ngayon?
Mhm.
Given the restrictions, I think going online, going digital is really the way to go right now. So they
Mhm.
will have to shift to an immediate 180-degree turn from an offline mode to an
Yeah.
online mode. So how can they do that in the soonest and shortest possible time? Second, safety and security of their people. I mean, not
Mhm.
only security physically, but also job security.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, people work to provide for their family. So how can we? How will these business owners be able to sustain supporting their respective employees, who in turn will be able to have a sustained um, who will be able to sustain and provide for their respective families and loved ones. Another thing is really the workforce employment. A lot
Mhm.
of businesses have cut down, pero how can they ensure that benefits will still be provided? Do they have the necessary tools to continue
Mhm.
on and sustain their employee productivity, even if majority of MSMEs have already started to render work from their respective homes. And
Mhm.
lastly, we're talking about sustainability. How can they really reach out to their customers? What are the different tools? What are the different ways to still make themselves felt with their respective clients, with their respective loyal customers, and be able to even be able to increase their customer base nowadays?
Mhm. Wow, those are very interesting insights, Marvin. And we also, even if you don't, even if you're a regular citizen, when you go outside and you still see a lot of stalls, a lot of stores which are closed, you will feel, that the impact of COVID-19 to small businesses. But you mentioned about business continuity and
Mm-hmm.
other workforce management, and of course interruptions in their supply chain. I'm very interested to know, madami kasing mga negosyante, lalo na yung mga small business,
Mm-hmm.
na hindi ready. Even
Correct.
us, we have not, we did not anticipate this type of crisis. No one anticipated this, but I think there are some, of course, people and sectors who have anticipated this. But in terms of, foresight, what do you think what kind of foresight should business owners have, to ensure that they would still, be able to continue their operations? Hindi nagulat lahat because of this. And also, I was always watching the international reports of our English newscast, Eagle News International. Talagang yung mga gobyerno and the government leaders, na are faced with the dilemma of choosing between the safety of their people and pumping up the economy. So again, going back to my question, so ano ba dapat yung can you say that, some, like, of course, the with you, who are engaged in technological innovations, you have that kind of foresight. But what
Mm-hmm.
about, small businesses? So this is related to my next question. Ano ba yung mga sectors na medyo nahirapan talaga, and what are also the other sectors that have gained
Mm-hmm.
from
Sige.
this?
Okay, thanks, Sir, again. But agree, no? I mean, everyone was caught unaware or was caught or we were surprised because of the impact of this pandemic. No one knew that this would be sustained or it would be prolonged, the restrictions in terms of movements. And it has impacted several industry. I think
Mhm.
two of the highly impacted industries would be the tourism industry. I mean, all the resorts, all the hotels have practically shut down their respective operations. Even the airline companies have reduced their manpower headcount, have reduced drastically their flights going in and out of the country and in different parts of the world. Another industry that is severely affected is the horeca industry. For the good 3 months, good 4 months of this ECQ, they weren't allowed to accommodate dine-in, so they had to to shift to different business models. But however, I mean, even through adversity, naman, there are industries also that will boom coming out of this situation. So for one, e-commerce is really on the rise. A
Yes.
lot of transactions.
Yeah. So, sorry, Marvin, I have to cut you there
All right.
before you proceed. You mentioned about tourism and
Mhm.
Horeca. So I think with these sectors, I remember when I think we were doing some stories with Globe My Business
Mhm.
that and even Sir Ernest Koo mentioned there was a thrust of Globe My Business to really support sustainable tourism as well. And I think in your case with Globe My Business, that's really one of the major efforts. Even you support them with sales, with technologies that they have gained. But in this case, you know. Uh, what are the options for them? We know as you mentioned off cam earlier, hindi pa natin alam kung kailan matatapos.
Mm.
So sila ba ano bang do you have any on a personal point of view? What do you think what would happen to these industries that you have mentioned? Is there somehow a different business model that they can also try to tap so that they will recover. Although, based on the latest updates from the Department of Tourism, unti-unti, medyo meron namang mga may there are some efforts that we hear, but again, in your case, because they are also part of your market. So, what is it? What do you think would be um, what's gonna happen to these severely affected industries?
Okay. Well, I think they will really have to adapt to the new norm. They will have to strictly implement social distancing. They will
Mhm.
have to implement hygienic measures, especially in the buffet areas. Just imagine you
Mhm.
getting buffet in the Bain Marie, di ba? I mean, you have to
Yeah.
probably put more safe guards to ensure that no spread of the virus will happen. And there are
Mhm.
also different ways to use technology. I mean, there
Mhm.
are already hotels in other countries that are using robots or chatbots to as robotic butlers to help you with your check-in and check-out process, to even
Yeah.
carry your luggages going to your respective room. So if we want minimal interaction with
Interaction.
individuals in order to prevent the spread, technology is there this to help our tourism industry.
Wow, that's interesting. Now, we talked about the severely affected
Mhm.
industries. Sino naman? What industries have gained? We know that what's this popular saying, Marvin? In every crisis, there is an opportunity. So,
Correct, agree.
which ones have gained? Baka doon na tayo pumasok.
Well, definitely, e-commerce is on the rise. Given that we are, especially during the first few weeks, first few months of the implementation of the ECQ, di tayo makapunta man lang sa grocery.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of e-commerce platforms there that will allow do the grocery shopping for you and just deliver it at home.
Mhm.
Retail shopping on e-commerce is also on the rise. I think based on the latest stats of Lazada, it's growing by 10%, coming from
Mhm.
a growth of plus 3% prior to the ECQ. So it's going to be sustained up until such time that we will be able to go back to our previous norm. But I think that will only happen once the vaccine is made available. So going back to
Which is
e-commerce, social,
which is about how many months pa daw? I
we don't
hear
know.
December, when you
Yeah,
hear
diba?
from President Duterte, kahit 'di ba mga eskwelahan, no vaccine, no pasok.
Correct.
Sometimes pero I think a lot of schools are now trying to adopt blended learning. But that's another story. It's not yet,
Yes.
I think that's
Uh,
not our major topic, but yes, so kumbaga parang sinasabi, speaking of the vaccine, some reports say that it could, that could be available 2021 or even 2022.
mhm.
Go ahead. I just have to
That's
mention
okay. So I was
that.
saying, no, so with the rise of e-commerce, so definitely logistics will go hand in hand. It's part of the supply chain. So we've had the more established courier providers here, but we've also seen businessmen, entrepreneurial people who were able to put up local logistics or courier providers in the region.
Mhm.
So with the rise of e-commerce, for the customer to be able to get the orders that they placed online, it has to be delivered to their respective houses. So those are the two key industries that are on the rise: e-commerce and logistics providers. But there's also a third booming industry right now, the financial institutions. It's been there ever since, but there's a new channel a new channel that's rising. It's really the cashless transactions. We've seen banks provide options for payments on e-commerce platform, but there are also new platforms or new ways to settle payments online, such as GCash. And it's something that we are heavily really promoting to our MSME accounts.
Yeah, and again, there's a huge leap in terms of online transactions, especially during the lockdown. Ngayon nga, parang ayaw mo nang hawakan na rin yung pera dahil the
Hindi mo alam kung saan nanggaling.
it's a physical money, di ba? And a lot of, what's interesting is, like, for example, in various condominiums, like where I live, there's already some sort of a cashless transaction there, like a kiosk, wherein you can transact, you can load your GCash accounts there, just to ensure that you don't even have to leave the building or the community, just for you to be able to ensure that there's a continuity of transactions, even if you don't go to the physical banks. So you mentioned that's e-commerce, logistics, and also fintech. Before the lockdowns, diba? Before the lockdown, talagang hindi pa naman ganun kataas yung nito eh. Of course, I think there's the vision, and the projection that this will really rise, but we never knew, it happened in a month or in 3 months. There's a few more questions, but before I have to ask them, let's pause for a break. Open for Business will be back. Stay with us.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants.
You're just too good to be true.
Open up, you came to get it drunk with a dame, I should have drunk you back.
When I was a child.
Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
Tagisan ng Galing is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sanmig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sanmig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChoice, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChoice. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Ulan Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matimco, R Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, IMAC UPV Roof Corporation.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Skyway Stages 1 and 2, the elevated toll road system project, run from a section of the South Luzon Expressway from Alabang to Magallanes, Makati. The Skyway Stage 3 is an elevated expressway connecting the South Luzon Expressway through the existing Skyway Stages 1 and 2 to the North Luzon Expressway via Balintawak. Skyway Stage 4 is an 80-kilometer mixed elevated and at-grade toll road that will connect the existing Skyway system starting from the FTI section all the way to Bulacan.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Globe My Business continues to herald the efforts of the Pinoy SMEs, our country's economic heroes. This video hopes to give more encouragement to our SMEs to rise above all the challenges that come their way and inspire them as they face a new tomorrow. Let's all watch this.
Will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. When I'm stuck with the day that's gray and lonely, I just stick out my chin and grin and say, the sun'll come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya, tomorrow, you're always a day away. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya, tomorrow, you're always a day
And Open for Business is back with Marvin M. Montes, the sales head of Globe My Business. Marvin, my next question is very interesting because, of course, a lot of business owners also easily adjusted to the pandemic. Talaga lang bang magagaling sila or talagang do you really need that kind of business acumen, if they call it, or how how has SMEs really pivoted, as what startups call it? Are there what kind of magic have they done, or what kind of what experience or skills have been used to really adjust to the new normal, especially during the lockdowns?
All right, sige. These are, I think, no, these business owners, these SMEs, who were they were really forced to reinvent themselves given the situation. But how they operated before was no longer applicable given the situation we are in right now. So to those who were able to adapt quickly, those who were able to define the new norm in terms of their operations, they were the ones who were able to gain competitive advantage. What do I mean by this? For example, we know of certain Japanese ramen restaurants who didn't allow you to do takeout or even bring home your leftover food. But
Yeah.
since they didn't have customers because we weren't allowed to go to the malls, to the restaurants, they eventually agreed amongst themselves to adapt to the situation, to just offer takeout with their frozen ramen. And you just had to prepare it at home with clear instructions on how it was given. Because if they didn't do that, up until now, they would probably totally close already.
Yeah. Before you continue, Marvin, some of our audiences may not, know the reason why. But I went into that restaurant in Molito yata. The reason why they will not allow you kasi talagang ang ramen daw kinakain ng, bagong luto, for you to really enjoy it. So I think that's a concept there, but you're saying because of because they're very flexible, they had to do that and offer frozen ramen, as you mentioned. What else?
I mean, another thing is, I mentioned earlier, e-commerce. So a lot of retail shops, of those who had physical stores, had to subscribe to or join various e-commerce platforms to be able for them to offer their products. If not join such platforms on their own, they put up their own online shops, digital shops, or even their own websites, just to be able to continue to offer their products to their customers. So those are the things that they had to do immediately, a quick 180-degree turnaround to continue on with their business.
And we also see, Marvin, that especially when I heard the talk of Mr. Ernest Ko and Sir Jaza, during the launch of Saludo SMEs, talagang they emphasize the resiliency, the creativity, the passion of SMEs. Can you cite, how this is manifested on the Globe My Business perspective? Because we are saluting them, because a lot of them still continued even with all these challenges. They never stopped. Talagang yung puso ng pagiging SME, pagiging startup, andun pa rin. So in your perspective, how do you describe the resiliency and creativity of our SMEs?
They're very, very resilient, sir. These MSME owners, karamihan dito, when they started their own business, it came out because of a hobby. Eventually, it became their passion. And then from passion, it became an advocacy to provide for the community, to provide for their employees. So they really are finding ways on how to sustain their business. Because of the pandemic, the digital transformation or adaptation to technology was accelerated. So right now we're seeing a lot of MSMEs approaching us, trying to find for solutions and products from Globe My Business that will allow them to continue on with their operations, whether they're from work from home or naka-skeletal force lang sila. They are approaching us to help them to help them survive, and we are more than willing to handhold them to be able to rise up from this tragic event and for them to get back on their own 2 feet and be where they are prior to this pandemic, or even in a better place probably.
Wow. Well, since you mentioned Globe My Business already, the show Open for Business is really a testament of how Globe My Business can also create or help create success. But for SMEs, for business owners, or for new entrepreneurs who want to delve into new businesses, what exactly is Globe My Business? What's the thrust of this arm of Globe?
Well, Globe My Business is the corporate arm of Globe Telecom, tasked to really help grow the MSMEs of the country. We discussed earlier, diba, that the economic backbone of the country is really the MSME. Without them, the country wouldn't have sustained the economic growth that we've had in the past several years. Yun lang, it's very unfortunate that it was kind of derailed because of this pandemic. But we're really here to help build the nation, help the MSME succeed. Right now, it's our main thrust really to help them rise and get back on their 2 feet again and move forward, because their success is really our business.
Wow, that's interesting. And you continued this project called Saludo SME. I think we covered one of the events sometime 2019 also, when social distancing has not been required yet. But it's good, and I think based on our feature and the story that we covered during the business caravan last week, it is a project that really provides that honors and inspires SMEs. What exactly is Saludo SME?
Well, Saludo SME is really just giving due recognition to our SMEs. They have done a great deal for our economy. They are challenged right now. That's why we want to support them and ensure their success. And again, I will be very repetitive on this, but we want to help them get back on their feet and move on with their respective operations. At the end of the day, we want them to succeed, because if they succeed, the economy will be able to recover, and people will be able to get back to their respective lives prior to the pandemic.
Now, we also talked about, when we talk of solutions, a lot of the businesses were not ready for digital transformation. Ngayon, one of the thrusts, and I think what we see, are the major offerings of Globe My Business in terms of providing digital solutions. Ano ba ang pwede nilang, what could SMEs, what solutions could SMEs possibly get from Globe My Business? And to continue with your response, what is that campaign for Saludo SME? Would you be, are there promotions here? Will SMEs, get more added incentives or new product offerings now that we are honoring SMEs? Will there be, discounts? Will there be, free trainings and special offers from Globe My Business as part of the campaign of Saludo SMEs?
Well, I don't want to get into the discount discussion, because it's something tactical. But anyways, something that we can put in terms of products. We have a whole slew of products. I mean, the time might not be enough for me to share with everyone the different products. But definitely, we have the right products. We have the right solutions, the appropriate solutions to be able to match the different or the varying pain points of our MSMEs. In terms of educating them, we have various ongoing webinars or business consultancy caravans that we do from time to time to help educate the MSMEs on the different pain points and the appropriate solutions in order for them to overcome these challenges.
Wow. We're running out of time, Marvin. And before we let you go, if you can say your piece, if you can give your tips to SMEs who, again, would like to reopen, and also your tips to them, especially for the entrepreneurs naman who wanted to engage in business. Kasi baka itong pandemic na ito, medyo nakasira na nung passion, or baka parang they would just go into another field of endeavor. But what is it that you can tell them as from Globe My Business, and what support would you be able to provide existing entrepreneurs and those who want to reopen their businesses?
Okay, to our SMEs out there, Globe My Business is here to handhold you guys. We want you guys to move on, move forward from this pandemic, because we will be there to help you succeed. We have my sales team is spread all over the country. You can visit the Globe website to be able to know the different products and services that we have. If you are interested, you can leave us a note in our website, and definitely our sales team will get in touch with you. At the end of the day, we want you guys to succeed. I know it's your passion, it's your advocacy, and we will be here to ensure your success.
Wow, that was a great way to end this conversation. That's the sales head of Globe My Business, Mr. Marvin M. Montes. Open for Business. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants.
You're just too good to be true.
Open up, you came to get it broke with a dame, but you did broke, you got it.
When I was a child.
Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
Tagisan ng Galing is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sanmig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sanmig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matimco, Our Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, IMAC UPV Roof Corporation.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved NutriChunks. With active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa NutriChunks.
The South Luzon Expressway, a 36-kilometer long road that runs from Alabang to Santo Tomas, Batangas, connects several commercial and residential areas in the Greater Manila and the provinces of Laguna, Cavite, and Batangas. This will soon be extended all the way to the province of Quezon.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi and very yummy, pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Mig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Mig Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Bakit natin ipinagluluto ang mga mahal natin? We want them to feel special. Sa meaty luncheon meat that we serve. If your pure intentions had a taste, it would taste like Pure Foods. Pure sarap. Pure Foods luncheon meat.
And our term of the week is from enterprisersproject.com. Our term of the week is digital transformation. Digital transformation is the integration of digital technology into all areas of a business, fundamentally changing how you operate and deliver value to customers. It's also a cultural change that requires organizations to continually challenge the status quo, experiment, and get comfortable with failure. And our word of the week is from Mr. Ernest Koo, the CEO of Globe. He said, "Going digital is one of the best chances the Filipino has to improve their life. The connectivity and the computing power we have today will enable things to happen for them." Thank you for watching Open for Business. Join us again in the next episodes of Open for Business for more insights from CEOs, thought leaders, and industry experts promoting business development in the Philippines. See you again every Saturday and Sunday here in Open for Business, where we discuss business information, deliver the latest business news to keep you informed and open for business, and be ahead of the curve from vision to action. You're on Facebook Live on Eagle News, and you can watch us again in the video section of the Eagle News Facebook page and on eaglenewslive.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Eagle News. For Open for Business, this is Cesar Valleos. We live in interesting times. Have a great day. And here is Julian to tell us more about Enjoy Music Beyond the Crisis, our online concert for the benefit of the FYM Medical Foundation.
Here are the many ways to donate and be able to help health workers and frontliners through the FYM Medical Foundation as our beneficiary. First, donate via pymy.co/EBC. Just use any Visa, MasterCard, or JCB credit, debit, or prepaid card and donate by logging on to pymy.co/EBC. Just choose an amount you wish to donate and enter your card details. Second, donate via the PayMaya app. If you have a PayMaya account, you can easily donate by scanning the QR code you see on the screen. Just log on to your app, click the scan button, point your camera to the QR code that you see on the screen, and enter the amount you wish to donate. Third, donate via PayPal. For PayPal app users, just log on to eaglenews.ph and click the PayPal Donate Now button found at the upper portion of the website. Input the amount you wish to donate, click Use this donation for Enjoy Music Beyond the Crisis, and choose between Donate with PayPal or Donate with a credit card in order to enter your additional information. Fourth, donate directly to the EBC bank account that is flashing on your screens. You can complete transactions online or directly with your banks.
Fifth, donate over the counter using ebc.pay8.app. Just go to ebc.pay8.app or scan the QR code and you can now choose to donate over the counter via the app. After typing your donation details, you can choose your payment options including over-the-counter payments like Palawan Express, LBC, ECPay, and Cebuana Luwilier. You can also pay through credit and debit cards and mobile e-wallets using the ebc.pay8.app.
Wherever you are in the world, you can easily help those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, even while at home, through our beneficiary, FYM Medical Foundation. Together, let's all do our part and stand as one against COVID-19.
Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and Globe My Business present Open for Business.